All right, everybody, welcome back. We are jumping right into a deep dive on a story developing out of Nigeria. It's Simon Ekpa, a recent court appearance he made,
Yeah.
and some interesting claims that he made during this appearance.
Right.
So, as you know, Ekpa is a figure that's really closely tied to IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra.
Mm-hmm.
This is a group that's advocating for an independent Biafra in southeastern Nigeria.
A very active group.
Yeah, very active. And his statement is raising some eyebrows because he is sort of distancing himself from the group, saying that he is simply an ordinary member.
An ordinary member.
Now, this is coming from the guy that a lot of people consider to be a prominent voice in the movement.
Exactly.
What's the real story here? What's going on? I'm so glad to have you here to help us unpack this.
Well, you pointed out something really key, which is that this statement comes as Ekpa is facing some legal challenges. And so by downplaying his role, he could be attempting to distance himself from some of the more controversial tactics that we've seen, some of the rhetoric that's been used.
That are associated with IPO.
Associated with the movement, exactly. It could be a strategic move that could affect his legal defense.
Makes sense.
Potentially, it also has implications for his standing within the movement itself.
Yeah, I was looking back, and one of the things that he has really become known for are these sit-at-home orders
Yeah.
that he's been, giving out.
Mm-hmm.
And those have been extremely disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about essentially bringing the entire Southeast region to a standstill. Businesses forced to close.
Wow.
People afraid to leave their homes. The economy is disrupted. And some even say that these orders have led to violence.
Yeah, it's sit-at-home orders have a really long history and a really controversial history when we look at protest movements around the world. And they can be very, very effective in terms of demonstrating that there's widespread dissatisfaction and putting pressure on authorities. But they also carry some pretty significant risks.
I can imagine.
They disrupt daily life, potentially alienate folks who don't support the cause, and can even lead to violence even when that wasn't the intention.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of those those protests that we see sometimes where they shut down like a major freeway or something.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of people that are like, hey, I support what you're saying, but I kind of need to get to work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You're impacting so many people who are not really your target.
Exactly. So, that makes me wonder if they cause so much disruption and potentially violence, are they actually effective? I mean, do they actually work?
It's a really tough question. There's no easy answer to that.
Sure.
But I think in Ekpa's case, these orders have certainly drawn attention to the Biafran cause.
That's true.
They've highlighted the frustrations that many in the Southeast are feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but they've also attracted criticism from both sides. You have people who feel like Ekpa has gone too far,
Yeah.
that he's actually using these to kind of stoke unrest and maybe to try to solidify his position
Okay.
within the movement.
I see. So kind of like a power play. You know what I mean? Kind of using this to make himself even bigger within the movement.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's all speculation at this point.
Right.
But it's definitely something that folks are saying.
So, going back to his statement in court where he's saying he's just an ordinary member of IPOB, it seems like a bit of a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
So is this just a way to deflect some of the criticism coming his way?
I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah.
He's facing these legal challenges, and maybe he's realizing that, having all this attention on him isn't necessarily a good thing. So by taking a step back saying, hey, I'm not the leader, he could be trying to shift some of the blame, or at least present himself as being less responsible for the negative things that have happened.
Yeah.
It's also a way to potentially appeal to more moderate elements within IPOB and to the wider public.
So this is interesting because it seems like there's a lot going on beneath the surface, right?
Yes.
Like if he's not the leader, if he's not the one calling the shots, then who is, and what does this all mean for the future of IPOB?
Well, these are crucial questions, and unfortunately, like many of the things we talk about on this show, there are no easy answers.
Right.
I think it's important to remember that the Biafran movement has a very, very long and a very complex history.
Absolutely.
And it's been marked by both peaceful activism and periods of really intense conflict.
Yeah.
So Ekpa's case could be a turning point. It's possible this signals a move in a more moderate direction for the movement.
Okay.
But it's also possible that things could escalate. We don't know. It raises questions about how the Nigerian government is going to respond too.
Right.
Are they going to see this as an opportunity to open some dialogue?
Hmm.
Or will they double down and crack down even harder on the movement?
Yeah, so it sounds like we're at a bit of a crossroads here. You've got Ekpa's case, his statement, the controversy around the sit-at-home orders. It's like everything's coming together
Hmm.
in this really interesting moment for the Biafran cause.
It's pivotal. What happens next with this case and with the actions of both IPOB and the Nigerian government could have really long-lasting impacts.
And it sounds like this is a story we're going to have to keep following closely. It is. And, thinking about all this, it raises a big question, and this is the question for all of you listening. If ECPA isn't the one in charge, then who is really leading the movement? Who's shaping the direction of this struggle for independence at such a crucial time? That's definitely something we're thinking about. It's a story that's still unfolding, and we'll be here to help make sense of it as it develops. So be sure to tune in next time. All right, everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.